What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. We're going to fly through this one. 6 games on a Tuesday. What a time to be alive. We'll talk about tails there at the midway point. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X. We got some games that are just getting underway here. A couple of the market-based stuff didn't go as well for me here on Monday that I posted. Posting some more of that from Portfolio EV Intel as well. And then ended up on some wild different iterations of things in the evening window. Going to be posting those here in a second. It's going to be a beautiful time to be alive. But without further ado, let's just make this as quick and easy as possible. Producer Jacob, we have no locks on the slate today, by the way. Let's get to the picks. And in the NFL streets, Joe Mixon's off to a really good start. That's good for everybody tailing from the video. He had 2 tutties within the first, I don't know. I mean, it's still in the first quarter. It's just insane. 61 rushing yards already for him, 62 now. Oh my goodness, he's going to smash that. But talking about basketball, which is, my favorite sport, producer Jacob's favorite sport, and, well, traditionally my best one betting hasn't been great here the last 2 weeks. I'm looking to turn things around for the people. We'll see how Monday ends up panning out. It's really just getting going. But this is your game of the night. Game of the day. Cleveland at Boston. Of course, Cleveland's undefeated, and now they're 4.5-point dogs because that's the kind of crap that happens when you're facing the Boston Celtics. Now, I've ran multiple iterations of this game. I've pretty much gone through every single facet, and I think there's a couple of things that stand out to me. One, do we see an increased workload in this spot for Al Horford? It's still the regular season. It's still a spot where you don't necessarily need to go and run playoff rotations, but this is the closest looking that a basketball game's had to a playoff spot all season long, so it wouldn't shock me if they got away from some of those minutes for Luke Cornett. They got to win from some of the minutes for Sam Hauser. If they just played a more condensed rotation in some of these spots. But Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, I think we might see more minutes of the full-on 5 going up against Cleveland. Now, they've got some injury news. Sam Merrill's dinged up questionable. Karis LeVert's questionable. And Isaac Okoro's questionable. With all of that being considered, I think if you made me do anything, I'd be looking at the Boston side of things. But they do have kind of like the inverse issue of what you have with Boston. In Boston, you're just 3-point galore. They're going to shoot a lot of them. They're going to shoot them pretty darn well. And Peyton Pritchard is off the bench, questionable coming into this one as well. I expect him to play here. It's a left thumb sprain. I feel like we would have heard if it was more severe than that. Plus, well, he only needs his right hand to some extent. I guess you need to catch a basketball and stuff. But Isaac Okoro being questionable there for that is a massive defensive piece to guard Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But it's not like they have a lot, Boston that is, a lot to cover Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the interior, which they should be able to have their way. But 3 is more than 2. We've learned that in modern basketball, or at least, people who understood math a long time understood that. And I think it's a really hard game to have any sort of a feel for. If you made me lean towards it, I'd go to the Boston side. But the data, it's showing this to be pretty efficient here at 4.5. And as such, Al Horford over 17.5 PRA is just going to be a lean for me. Again, I do think there's a chance that we just see more minutes for the big guy in this spot, but not on the card as of right now. Charlotte at Brooklyn next up on the docket. And, who's going to be playing center here in the starting lineup for the Brooklyn Nets? I'm not sure, but Nick Claxton going to be out here for this one. And man, they've had some bigs that have been in a lot of pain here lately. Nicholas Claxton, Daron Sharp, we're waiting for him to get back in our lives. Bojan Bogdanovic is on this basketball team. I would love to see that. As for everything else across the board on the Charlotte side, Trey Mann questionable. That is a little bit of ammunition in the kitchen. Off the bench, probably get some minutes of Micic. Cody Martin maybe gets a couple extra. But overall, you know what you're getting on the Charlotte side of things. A game that does look pretty darn efficient, but Ben Simmons is kind of who I have slated in as your potential starting center because Grant Williams should be the guy on the Charlotte side. They've gone away from Salon in this starting lineup. That is Tijan Salon. I love that name, by the way. Musa Diabate has been playing awesome for them off of the bench. That's for sure. Seth Curry kind of sent to the shadow realm to a certain extent, but I think without any of their bigs, Nick Richards, Mark Williams, we could be seeing a lot more opportunity here for Ben Simmons against another non-traditional 5 in Grant Williams. And that makes the rebounds and assist numbers look nice. I added them together in the portfolio, something I try to do early in the season, purely because we're going to see shifts in the market and an assist here, an assist there, or a rebound here, a rebound there. That's going to really, really change the complexion of this one. But it's at minus 125 at BetMGM right now. Ben Simmons over 12.5 points plus rebounds. I repeat, if he is not in the starting lineup, this would not be a play for me, but I'm assuming that he will be, and I don't want this to move. He'll be okay off the bench going up against Diabate and company, but overall, we know what we're looking at for Ben Simmons. Less output on the scoring potentials here, but against Charlotte, I do think this game, 224.5, higher than we've seen from some of the previous iterations for Brooklyn. Nikola Jokic is questionable. Yet again, we kind of need to be knowing whether Nikola Jokic is going to be playing basketball or not, because he's the most impactful player of anybody in the NBA. And I could go through all of his PER stats. I could go through efficiency ranking. I could go through all of his MVPs that he's just going to be counting up and collecting as long as he is out playing the minimum number of games, whatever it was that Joel Embiid couldn't meet the threshold of last year. But you know what I'm talking about. Jokic is important, and they're taking on Memphis in this spot. It just changes everything. He's the most impactful player. Marcus Smart is questionable on the other side of this one for Memphis. But you just go through all the numbers with and without Jokic on the floor, and we're talking about the best team in the West or the worst team in the West. Now, it's not as cut and dry as that. I actually have Denver as 1, 2, 3 and change. Now, they're going to have to play a lot of minutes for Jokic in these kind of spots, but he just had a kiddo. Hey, congratulations, Jokic. But I mean, we kind of need to see if he gets on a plane or not. Can we get like a tracker? Can we get like a Santa tracker on Jokic? Santa Claus is coming to Memphis. Something. Can you tell I haven't been like, what do we even do? Denver +4, just going to be a lean for me. Just lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with it. Have no idea, but it will swing wildly one way or the other. If you can guess this 50-50 proposition, I would actually go like 51-49, he's out, but I don't know. Denver +4. I just feel like if he plays, this is such a smash number to be getting. Always a smash number to be getting. Pick 'em on the left side, sportsbooks on the right side, and rebet at the bottom. That is Eric's Tales package. If you sign up at the link below for any one of these 11 beautiful sites and take advantage of all of their great promotions. Again, DraftKings, you can use promo code Lindy when you sign up over at the DK Pick 6, and you can get yourself $50 just by playing $5 or more over there. Better. I want to get better. There are great opportunities over there as well. Bet365, damn good find. Suck it to you one more time. Get low when you sign up. Bet 5, get 150, like an 8-10 oiler. Going to be a beautiful opportunity. Go to the link below. Use these 4 beautiful signups. We get 4 super easy steps. Email support at oddshopper.com. That's the key part of the entire thing, with your screenshot of your 1, welcome email, and 2, first settled bet. It's as simple as that. Would love to see you there. Get all the plays all the live long day. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. I think this is clean and easy. If you guys take advantage of that, I never have to talk about any of those individual sports books again. I love being able to sign up at all the books. I just want you to take advantage of all of them, be signed up anywhere. And then, well, we can all hang out and we can talk in the Discord about bets like this one and why I like it. New Orleans taking on Dallas. We have Luka Doncic questionable, and similar to the last game, well, Luka, one of the most impactful players in the entire NBA in terms of player efficiency rating and just how you value them, win share. I mean, it's absurd that you have to basically try to handicap this as a book without having knowledge. But we did just see Luka sit out, and we probably saw Dallas show out in a way that we were not expecting. I mean, again, I didn't end up on a play of it, but just watching it, 240 points against Oklahoma City in general. I mean, that thing went over the total. You got 27, 17, and 2 from PJ frickin' Washington. Welcome to the club. And let me tell you, he gets crunk in the club and he knocks down threes in isolation there. Kyrie Irving had a pretty nice night himself, because that's what he always does whenever Luka's out. Put up 23, 6, and 1. Pretty quiet by his standards, but did a great job of managing that offense and against a very difficult defense. New Orleans will not be that on the other side of this one, because they're without everybody. Let me count the ways that they are just depleted. Jose Alvarado, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Jordan Hawkins dance in his khaki pants, and of course, Zion Williamson. Woof. Brandon Ingram starting to give up a ton of usage, and Brandon Boston is kind of an interesting guy to be paying attention to in the prop market. we're starting to see, because of some of these massive Brandon Ingram games, his numbers starting to get inflated. And this is a difficult defensive matchup here going up against Dallas. Quentin Grimes in the starting unit. If you don't have Luka Doncic starting, that's kind of been the prevailing thing. They've also gone back and forth between Gafford and Lively and Lively and Gafford. And, well, been playing more minutes here for Derek Lively like they should be. We've seen teams highs minutes there for Daniel Gafford of late. But I like the under of this one, 224.5. We saw some unsustainable shooting for that game to get to 240, specifically on the PJ Washington side of things. Maxi Kleber been doing a decent job, but we have an awesome opportunity overall here, friends, to be getting ourselves in under. And I know a lot of people don't love themselves some unders, but New Orleans, there's just not a lot of ammunition on that side of the ball to make this one hurt. I really want to pull the trigger on this, but I haven't as of now. We're going to put it in the lean light category because technically this spread I have closer to 9.5, 10, and it's sitting at 8.5 here on the Oklahoma City side, taking on the Spurs. No Victor Wembanyama. Man, we go from Jokic to Luka to Victor. I mean, these are really, really hard games to handicap here on Tuesday, purely because we don't have a ton of minutes without Mr. Victor Wembanyama this season, and not a lot of minutes for guys like Devin Vassell, who has been very, very good in very limited minutes so far this season. I just think he's a good piece and somebody you want to have on your basketball team. He's shooting 37% from three so far, 45% from the field. Does a little bit on the defensive end, but overall, he's out there to score Z basketball. As for Chris Paul, he should be managing an offense. We get Stephon Castle in that starting unit. He's looked like a really nice piece. That guy can play some actual defense. Still waiting on Jeremy Sohan to get back in their lives here as well. So it's a hard handicap. Now, Oklahoma City has gone to very small lineups. Jalen Williams, this guy deserves a medal because this guy is just playing the five, not complaining about it, getting down, getting grimy, and just boxing dudes out, making things happen. And OKC is one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA as well, despite being one of the best teams in the NBA, because SGA, hey, he's rather good. But I think you get Cason Wallace, Dort, Wiggins, and Williams as your starting unit around SGA here in this spot, going up against Castle, Champagny, Barnes, Chris Paul, point guard, of course, and Zach Collins. It's such a weird one. Again, I technically the data has me betting this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make it a lean like. If you want to add something else to your card, I know there's only 6 games. It's just a little too thin for me at the moment. Now, if this somehow drops to 8, I probably will jump on 8, 7.5, sure. But as of right now, even though it's a point and a half disparity that I've got between this and the spread, it's not good enough in the long run. Because there's this thing called VIG that you have to beat, but we're going to do it here to round out our program, and we're actually going to bet a guy who is questionable for this game. Now, there's a couple of things to know. One, if you bet this and you tail me with this, if you're putting this in parlays, you have a chance of having this leg voided. And there are certain books, you know the ones. I hope you know the ones for the most part. If you have questions, hit me up on X. But you might get parlays voided in the event that he ends up being out. But, you know, spot like FanDuel, DraftKings, they're going to just simply void that leg of it. The big hitters, for the most part, the main public sports books that you know and love, those ones will continue to have live action on the rest of the parlay. But keep that in mind. Who am I talking about? Why wouldn't it be Rui Hachimura taking on Utah here in this spot? He got 10.5-point favorites, and I love what we're seeing from JJ Redick managing this basketball team so far. And I am a JJ Redick stan for what it's worth. However, this is a pretty efficient spread here. 9.5 is where I've got this at. I'm not going to bet that on the Utah side, taking a point there. It's just not worth it. Again, not good enough. It's not worth it, but Utah is going to run out some semblance of a starting five in the NBA. You got Keontae George, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and Kyle Filipowski, but they're playing a very, very deep rotation. We saw Isaiah Collier come in and start at the point guard spot. Keontae George is back for this one, so I don't expect that to continue. I think Filipowski found himself a decent amount of minutes. You got Johnny Juzang, who's been playing here and there, coming back to his homeland of Los Angeles. You got John Collins, of course, who's playing big minutes. I expect with Walker Kessler out that we get him to continue to start at the 5, but there's always a chance that the other shoe drops and they just try to do something else. Cody Williams, but I doubt it. I doubt they go to the Cody Williams piece and play Kyle Filipowski to die against Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis should get whatever he wants here in this spot. However, if you run into a blowout situation, well, you're gonna want to take a look at some of these alt numbers on a couple of different pieces. But Rui, despite not getting as much usage as you might anticipate for a guy who's literally out there to score most of the time, he's been playing low to mid 30s in every single competitive spot, and non-competitive spots, well, he continues to close things down. However, the last 6 bros are not going to like this play at all, because if you look at his box scores, well, 5 games in a row before he put up 19 against Memphis there on the 13th, his last time out, he had not exceeded double digits. This is a Utah team, though, that is so grotesque when you look at some of their team stats from a defensive perspective that I don't even have words for it. 117.2 adjusted defensive rating. I adjust that per 100 possessions, and I adjust it for strength of schedule, of which they've had a pretty neutral strength of schedule. I mean, it's top 5 if you look at certain metrics, but it's outside the top 5 in terms of offensive strength, going up against it 13th. But Utah is so bad defensively. They're 3-10. I can't tell who's worse between them and Washington at this point, but they're both pretty awful basketball teams. Give me Rui Hachimura to round out our show. Over 11.5 points. This one's sitting around -125, -126 everywhere. Got this at Caesars. Again, utilize all the sports books that you possibly can. And again, if you want to join me in Tails, we'll talk about that on the way out. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on the board for this lovely little slate that we have upon us. Now, check out Tails. Just said that. You can sign up down below. Sign up at one of these 11 sites. You get it for free. Yes, you get Tails for free here with me in my Discord for $50 value, completely free, in addition to the great sign-up offers that every single one of these provide. I repeat, promo code Lindy will work at Underdog, at Pick 6, at everything here. Take advantage. Better as well, Sleeper as well. Would love to see you all there. It's only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, let's get ourselves the heck up out of here, friends. That was a nice one. 6 gamer on Tuesday. Wednesday will be deep with options. I'm sure we'll find ourselves a lock there. Check out Portfolio EV down below as well. I'll see you guys back here next time. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck. Thank you, producer Jacob. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.